the expectation from finance now, not only with CFO, is really, giving insights, decision support, and not just financial information. And because of that, it requires a lot of solution that should be in place for you to be able to do that. But it will still originate from your data, right? At the end of the day, finance is data, right? But it's no longer financial information. It's already how to run the business using the data that you have. As an example, one of the key functions now in finance would be analytics. And analytics is not only expected to analyze risk and opportunities from your P&L. Analytics is also expected now to come up with, decision support, data insights such as, predictive type of analytics. Say in our case, how to improve revenue, where we can generate more income, where we can sell more for what particular SKU. So those are the expectations now from finance, apart from the typical financial information. And with that, you need to transform your people to do more analytics rather than data processor or accountants, right? And you will only be able to do that if you will automate your processes and make them time spent on analysis, decision support, so those kind of things. And I think automation will be the enabler for finance to transform to become, decision support function. We provide reports, we do P&L analysis, but the way we do it before is just like trending analysis, as an example. From the recorded data, you'll just generate report and analyze your this month versus last month, this year versus this year, right? When you transform into more analytics and you automate your processes, there's certain level of information, detailed information that will now be required. So yes, there's increase and decrease, say for example, coming from the trend, but what are the nature of those increases and decreases? So you need to deep dive. You need to understand your data further and not just understanding the delta. And you can only do that if you have your automated processes. We've tried to do that in the past, transforming our people to do deeper analysis, but because their time still spent on recording transaction, the tactical one rather than strategic, we can't deliver the expected information from us because time still spent on really preparing the data rather than analyzing the data. The new expectation from finance is really decision support, and part of that decision support function is really not just on what's happening now, but also forward-looking. How we're going to help the business, say, to grow the volume, grow the revenue, grow the operating income. And that will be through forecasting and analysis. But if you will just do analysis from your past transactions and without, doing, forward-looking type of analysis, I don't think it's a decision support. You're just giving them information of what happened with the business, right? It's really removing the tactical, activity, the very transactional activity. Here in CCBBS, so what we have is, this is something that I can share, I guess, our strategy on transforming our finance operation. So in the past, think of it like a pyramid. The bottom part, which the large part, the large section of the pyramid is the transactional activity, while the tip part will be the insights, the analytics. So majority of the time is spent on transactional activities, because of the volume of transaction. So we want to invert that pyramid. You'll do more on analytics, less on transactional activities. But that doesn't mean that you will reduce the volume. So it means that you will automate your processes so that you will enable your team to do more the analytics, the decision support, and even reporting and controls and compliance. That's end-to-end automation for us by allowing the people to do more on data insights, decision support, controls and compliance, and reporting. Well, number one, you need to have the right data source. At the end of the day, say if the focus area is to transform your people to provide data insights, if you don't have the right information, the right data, you will still not be able to do that, even if you have equipped people to do analysis, right? And even if you have automated processes, transactional activities like recording your invoices, your AR, your closing activities, even if those activities are automated, but if you don't have the right data at the onset, upon recording, you will still not be able to provide data insights. So that's one of the key challenges that normally, I think for me, one of the critical areas that we need to prepare to transform. The second one is cultural transformation. Because again, finance is perceived to be report preparers. The way to automate the processes and even reports is to enable the business to generate reports by themselves, so that finance can focus more on decision support rather than preparing the reports for the business. As an example, sales team, they want to know the sales volume. So what finance will normally do, and the sales revenue, what the finance will normally do is generate report for them and then give it to them to analyze, or at least just to give information. Well, in fact, if you have the right data, the right set of information, allow the business, train the business, the functions to generate the reports by themselves. Decision support doesn't necessarily mean, I'll tell you what you need to do, but I will enable you to make decisions. So the third one would be skill set. You need to upskill your people. Again, if you're heavy right now on tactical and transactional activities, people are used to spend time on recording transaction, and you will now expect them to analyze without preparing the skills, without upskilling your people, giving them proper training. You will still not be able to do that. So even if they have now time to analyze, you will still not get what you want because people are not equipped to analyze. So I think those are the three, for me, important things. Of course, there are other factors like in terms of solution, your technology readiness, the investment, the money. For me, those are ministerial. But even if you have the money, if you will not prepare your organization with those three things, I don't think you will be successful in automation. I believe there are two things. One is having a shared accountability model, as simple as having a shared metric. Say, for example, normally sales metric or KPI is volume, while finance is operating income, right? So now, if you will make it as a shared metric, finance will have sales volume target even if they're not selling, but then, which means they need to help sales or enable sales to do more on selling, right? So that's both of you will achieve that sales target or sales KPI. And then on the operating income side, sales will help you to lower, say, OPEX, or to do right pricing strategy to achieve the operating income target. Having different set of metrics is one of the characteristic of a silo mentality, right? And then second is, which is for me essential, business partnering skills. Finance should be more a business partner rather than a support function. Again, like what I've said, in terms of report, support function, what they will do is provide reports to you. As a business partner, I'll help you to generate report, and I'll help you to understand what's in that report, and help you to make decision. So those are the two key areas for me that I think that is very important to remove that silo mentality in the organization. Just from my experience, and there are new young leaders, and this is what I always tell my people, especially the old ones. The way how I adapt with the new generation, with the technology, with the new environment, is I always look at outside perspective. So I don't just look at the things inside the organization. I always do research, benchmark our activities to know, what is now happening in the industry, what are the best practices, and then figure out what can we, do to adapt and to be at least at par with the emerging organizations, or with the top quartile organization. I think the future of finance and the people, I think it's really more on still towards digitalization, but the key here is the processes will always will continue to change if you will continue to be open, and at the same time willing to adopt. I think the people in the organization will continuously evolve. Well, number one, RPA will not correct your processes. If you will not fix your processes, it's going to be garbage in, garbage out. So don't expect RPA will improve your processes. It will just somehow automate your processes. Now the question is whether that is the effective processes or not. I think RPA will not help you to do that. RPA is somehow, maybe for other companies, is easy to implement. But I guess coming from finance, not an IT person, for me it's important to have the technical background, and of course combine it with the business background. Yeah? Because if you don't have at least one of those, it will not be easy for you to automate your processes. Having technical background without business knowledge, it will be hard for you to translate into logic or into scripts the processes that will be laid out by the business for you to automate. It will take time for you to gather data, or to define the logic. On the other hand, if you don't have technical knowledge, you just have process knowledge, again, it will take time for you to learn, how to develop solutions, because RPA is something that will not help you to easily automate your processes. For me, it's, unless of course you have someone who is expert, like a certified RPA developer, or you will outsource the development. But I don't think it's sustainable in terms of cost, or if you will outsource the development, it should still be in-house. I don't think so. It's actually the mindset. It's actually the way of thinking. If you are up for digitalization, if you have that kind of mindset and you embrace the change, you embrace the technology, I think you will be hungry for solutions. You will be hungry for automation, and doesn't necessarily mean you need to learn the IT way to do those automation and things like that. Like in our case, we've been developing a lot of automation, process improvements, business processes. In the areas of automation, we automated our P2P processes, our invoice processing. We implemented RPA, and we are embarking our journey on machine learning for reconciliation processes. I'm not an IT person, but I'm open to learn from IT, from tech guys, and I continuously search and look for digitalization opportunities where we can, or at least things that we can apply for our organization.